Cavs and Thunder, 260-win teams dominating with convincing sweeps, proving why it's not a fluke they won so many games. The Memphis OKC series, more like a warm-up exhibition for SGA. And the young squad, Cleveland on the other hand, won by the biggest margin in league history, a staggering 30.5 point average in a 7-game series, which goes to show the playoffs shouldn't allow any pathetic 10 seeds to make it to the postseason. Now on to most of the second round matchups. The three obvious contenders alongside defending champion Boston Celtics haven't broken a sweat. With much implications and reputations built in the playoffs, many had doubts about certain players, whether they have the it factor beyond the regular season success. Some have responded perfectly, showing us why they not only belong but are here to take over, while others, criticized for their flaws, will continue hearing about their deficiency. Proving doubters wrong, Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks, many continue to be non-believers, even picked New York to get upset at round 1, but not if number 11's taking over. The greatest Knick of this century proved why he more than deservingly earned the league's Kia Clutch Player of the Year award, getting things done, fearless, never discouraged, even if he misses 10 straight shots. Brunson never shines away from the moment. Many other stars might have more upside, better physical abilities and natural talents, but JB simply born into having that clutch gene, establishing himself one of the most consistent closers, winning 61% rate in clutch games, shot 51% in the clutch this season. His strong reputation and just finding ways to win dates back to his youth and Villanova days. Now 28 years old, taking the league by storm just 3 seasons ago from getting snubbed 2023 All-Star selection with his latest 40-point performance, now has 8 of them in the playoffs, tying Steph Curry already. Only LeBron and Kevin Durant amongst active players have more, which goes to show his greatness in big situations. The final 2 minutes in close games for New York, you know it's Brunson's time to shine, giving tips not creative offensively, proving to the world Jalen clearly the best player in the Detroit series. The crossover to create space for that tray, an absolute thing of beauty. On to the second round against the champs could be a thing of ugly. For the Knicks, they could absolutely make it a series as long as Captain Clutch continues delivering, overcoming near impossible odds. Proving doubters right, Luka Doncic, an absolute travesty of a defender. Nico Harrison will always be public enemy number 1 of the year, but he's proven his point as of now. How defense wins championships, constantly disrespecting the Slovenians' bad habits, being out of shape, gives no effort on the other side of the ball, as we've seen him get torched constantly by Ant Edwards, Jaden McDaniel, and Julius Randle, being on a floor Laker team that can't hide his weaknesses with their lack of big men. Yes, he did average 37-6 against Minnesota, but also gave up 30. The Mavs had all the proper pieces around him last season, resulting in a finals appearance until the front office seen enough after Game 3 Boston loss. If Doncic is not averaging 40 a game, putting up 30, not up to standards, winning against a serious contender, if he don't want to play any D, by the time fourth quarter comes around, gasses out, has nothing left. Every offseason, the Mavs constantly beg him to work on his conditioning. If he truly wants to reach all-time great levels, he has the offensive talent to already be considered top 20 when his career said and done. Only 26 years old, moves like 46 out there. If he don't work on the little things to be in championship level shape, his career might not be as long as we may think. Needs to look at himself in the mirror and model what Nikola Jokic did after 2019, before Joker won an MVP, was called fat, out of shape, absolutely gassed during the 2019 Portland series. Next half a decade later, Jokic went on to have one of the greatest offensive primes we ever witnessed. Only Luka can change his bad habits. Does he want to be all-time great, or just one of those guys with all-time talent only to underachieve? The choice is his. Proving doubters wrong, Julius Randle, known as a certified postseason choker, but to be fair, 2021, his Knicks roster absolutely trashed starters, many of whom no longer in the NBA. When the entire defense focused on him, there's nothing he could do, resulting in 2 bad New York playoffs, having poor assist to turnover ratio, from elite regular season, all NBA level, to unplayable in the postseason. All that changed in Minnesota. Only Tim Connolly can see his fit next to Gobert and a bunch of outside shooters. Alongside a rising superstar, Randle been able to maximize all parts of his game, shooting much closer, attacking the rim at will, channeling his inner Zach Randolph, knowing nobody on the Lakers can stop him, utilizing bully ball as an interior monster. Occasionally will still attempt to turn around jumpers with the clock winding down, but he's figured out how to take better shots, waits for the mismatches, hunts Luka constantly, ain't scared of LeBron, uses his strength, creating for teammates. The closer down the stretch game 5, after committing 7 turnovers the first game, only 6 total combined the next 4, comes out imposing his chest on whoever's guarding him, being a second and third option, put in the right situation to succeed. From being one of the most inconsistent stars, he's been the most consistent Timberwolf. What Zach Randolph was doing to Tim Duncan 2011 first round, very similar to what Randle was capable of against old LeBron, much more mature, growing in front of our eyes, the aggressor, the decisive moves, playing in the flow of the offense. Julius solidified himself as a true star and excellent second option, proving doubters right. LeBron James, playing additional seasons only to benefit getting more stats, total accolades, doesn't necessarily inch you closer to changing many's minds on who's the true GOAT, constantly chasing the ghost who's played for Chicago years ago. Just when his fans thought he'd take over the West, the same way he destroyed the Eastern Conference for years, it doesn't work that way. 5 times getting bounced in round 1 or missed playoffs in 7 seasons with the Lakers. Of course, after he loses, a full day goes by, then all of a sudden, media buddy Dave McMellamin tweets about the grade 2 sprained MCL. Why was it announced 2 days after the loss? Always some other excuse. After the 2018 broken hand fiasco, even if this injury is 100% real, many can't even take James seriously, manipulating the media in his favor too many times to make many believe everything that comes out true. We all know he lies. Given the age, still playing super heavy minutes, James' superstar's ability is still there, but being consistent for a 48-minute game, the wear and tear issues a huge concern. This Timberwolves series marks his worst fourth quarter since 2011 finals. Rudy Gobert, the very delightful tower, looked like Will Chamberlain out there toying with boys. He could have waited a full 2 seconds after grabbing every offensive board to lay the ball in. That's how helpless the Lakers were, constantly getting disrespected and shit on for years, blamed as a defensive liability. In a game with LeBron, Luka, and Edwards, it was Rudy the best player in game 5, fighting for second chances. After every Wolves missed shot, having the best game of his career, Gobert might not be respected amongst current players, but will absolutely become a future Hall of Famer, by far the second most successful player in his draft class behind Giannis. John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. proving doubters right. From youthful and promising to disastrous, close to another rebuild, Ja continues to be injury prone, 3 more years in his contract, 25 years old, hasn't taken a leap from 3 years ago, never came close to playing a full season, having drawn too much outside attention with the team's lack of leadership don't sit right. Memphis all of a sudden no longer viewed as young. From being ahead of the curve in their development to regressing backwards, whole team approaching the stage of signing max extensions, which limited Denver and Milwaukee's roster after they won their titles under the new CBA. Memphis now absolutely cooked. 1 playoff series won in 4 years. They should stop talking. Triple J could have secured an insane 5 years, $345. Had he won Defensive Player of the Year, absolutely nowhere close to that level of greatness. At best, a third option on a contender, but being the number 1 for most of this season, the franchise can't completely lowball him either. The Grizz in a lose-lose situation, now all of a sudden, afterthoughts. Tyrese Haliburton, absolutely owning and ending the Giannis Bucks era. From called overrated to the best pure floor general of this generation, the incredible game-winning layup, overshadowed by his father's antics, doesn't take away from the fact he led Indiana to the second round, on verge of becoming the greatest Pacer all time if he stays for another decade, achieving more playoff success at a disadvantage, being in a small market, having gritty players in Nembhard, Turner, Topkin, and Siakam, proven to be a closer by scoring when needed. Nobody can guard him when he's in the zone. Andrew Wiggins proving doubters right, an absolute travesty of a trade. 2 years left on his contract. Heat fans can't understand how Steph won a title with Wiggs being his second option. Can't make anything work in the blowout losses. 4 straight possessions getting straight up embarrassed. Averaged a piss poor 11.5 points, 3 and 2 on 37% shooting. Miami Heat fans already sick watching Wiggins as much as Terry Rozier. Having one of the most roller coaster careers, he made his lone All-Star appearance 3 years ago, won his title, earned over 200 mil. Happens to be athletically gifted enough to play the game for a living, went from a terrible defender to one of the best good role players, back to average on D. To 2025, who is he? Cade Cunningham, the future extremely bright in Detroit, proved to everyone why he was more deserving of the #1 pick when some even labeled him a bust. All 30 out of 30 teams would have taken Cade in a redraft, and that includes Houston having Şengün, taking New York to a competitive 6 with Tobias Harris being his second option. Incredible defense, super mature for his age at 23, a certified mid-20 point scorer, can playmake at a high level, has great leadership qualities, soon to be MVP candidate on the horizon, has very similar qualities to Luka, doesn't have Doncic all-around offensive skills or tough shot making, but far better conditioning, has great mental fortitude, already risen from the bottom, things can only go up. Tyler Herro to an impactful 0, a disaster class without Jimmy. 4 points on 10 shots, the closeout game resulted the most lopsided series when viewed the first option, locked up by Dean Wade, Merrill, Strus, and Hunter all game. Of course, when Allen and Mobley waiting inside, Herro can't do anything, unless you're top 15 caliber, who Tyler isn't. When cheerleader Tristan Thompson scored as much as you did in 2025's NBA and you're an all-star player, you should absolutely be ashamed of yourself. Proving doubters wrong, Russell Westbrook, huge game 7 off the bench, 16, 5 and 5 steals, lots of energy, a powerful resurgence when many wanted him out the league after his disaster with the Lakers, but self-aware Russ, absolutely dangerous, the X factor of the series. It's been a roller coaster of a season, capable of beating OKC one night but lose to the Wizards the next, can shoot his team out the series or flip a matchup. Still having those vintage games here and there, 21 in Game 5, one of the heroes Game 1. Russ fans experience all the different types of emotions one can endure throughout an illustrious career. The most confusing top 75er to evaluate will be Am facing his former team's second round. The question is, will his positive energy help his underdog Nuggets against a 68-win Thunder? A good thing he's at least out the first round. Will have another chance to prove himself. Proving doubters right, James Harden, an absolute travesty of a choke job, time and time again, melting in an elimination game, never disappoints, freezing under pressure, wasting shot clock, allergic to perform well in game 7s, and people still have the audacity to say he's better than D Wade. No chance. Another gutless effort, passive zero aggression, once he sees a few misses, just gives up, wanting no part of being there, losing a game 7 with 4 different teams, what else is new? Super unclutch, can never beat the choking allegations, 2 of 8 shooting, if he would have went down swinging and go 2 of 18, at least he didn't quit, always seemed to gas out, same exact time. Now at this point, a third option at best for a winning team, not a second. A Brooklyn situation with KD and Kyrie would have been perfect for him. Harden on the Clippers ran to the ground with Kawhi out to start the season. The Beer's abilities expires early playoffs. Honorable mentions proving doubters wrong. Jaden McDaniel living to every bit of his contract, proving doubters right. Steve Kerr with his horrendous Game 5 punting the game. Honorable mentions Malik Beasley, Gary Trent Jr., epic choke jobs, Kyle Kuzma, and Taurean Prince. Just take your talents to Shanghai.